the day before she defected, she or her team were handing out leaflets in Dover and surrounding areas, Deal, accusing Labour of having, quotes, no plan and, quotes, taking Britain back to square one. That was the leaflet that was handed out the day before yesterday, the day before her defection. So an opportunist and possibly a Labour own goal. Shaun in Tavistock, good idea or not for Sir Keir Starmer to politically embrace Natalie Elphicke? Morning.
Nick Starmer, good morning to you all. Nick Starmer exposed, and the tipping point is going to happen now. This is the same Starmer who's accepted a hard right-wing Tory MP into his fold when he sat on the shoulder of Corbyn for 4.5 years on a Marxist manifesto. He wanted to nationalise the internet through BT Openreach. He stood by Starmer, Corbyn, to fend off Hamas. He's a left-wing North London barrister. And what he's been instructed to do by Matheson, his Director of Communications, is to listen to the focus group. If the focus groups want heavy immigration control, he will say it. If Elvis Presley is alive and well in Tavistock, he'll say Elvis Presley is alive in Tavistock if the swing voters want to hear it. The guy's a complete charlatan.
All right,
and
well, let's put to you the other side, that it shows that the Labour Party is a broad church and representative of a wide variety of views, and thus making it more electable to so many more people up and down the United Kingdom. Shaun.
Let me give you the facts, Nick. The Labour Party is controlled by the Corbynist membership. The membership price was dropped by Miliband to £3 a pop and drew in the hard left, and they put Corbyn in place for 2 elections. And then when he didn't win, Starmer put himself up, and he said exactly what the Corbynists wanted to hear to get elected.
You're not saying it's still controlled by Corbynistas, are you?
Well, the membership is. That's why he appeased them.
Oh, I see. But I'm sorry, not Sir Keir is what you're saying, because I was going to say you couldn't get people more apart than Natalie Elphicke and Jeremy Corbyn.
Exactly the point I'm making. He's allowed this woman in because he's directed by his Director of Communications, this lady Matheson. He'll say exactly what she wants him to say for the focus groups to get the swing voter. Don't believe a word of it. The guy is hard left as he come. And one quick tie-in, Nick. I spoke to Richard Tice on your programme.
Yes.
And we had an exchange by email next day, and he responded, to be fair to Richard, because I called Starmer out as a threat to national security. Right. I sent for him my military service. I copied you in, by the way,
right.
my red book.
Right.
Okay? And I said to him, he's a threat to national... And he said, no, he's dealing with anti-Semitism. Next day, he agreed with me, after Rochdale. So now what you have to ask Richard is, does he really want to put Starmer into power by splitting the Tory vote?
I'll be honest, Nick, I think if I was Rishi Sunak, I'd be waking up this morning thinking, yeah, he might have done me a favour somehow. And I wonder if Keir
how is it a
favour?
favour?
What he wished for.
Why would you say that? Is it not deeply embarrassing for him?
I don't think it is. I mean, I think part of the problem is this broad church that all political parties talk about having and embracing. It actually is a massive headache a lot of times, because when you have got individuals who are sort of pulling the party in a direction that perhaps is a bit further than you want to go, or that your colleagues want it to go, it can be incredibly challenging. There's no question that Natalie was definitely on that very further right arm of the Tory party, which has been causing problems. When we all know that elections are won in the centre ground, actually Natalie is the kind of character that can make life quite challenging, whichever party she's in. So you can see the reaction from Labour now, and many MPs that looked quite uncomfortable and are still talking about being uncomfortable about having her in the party. And I think for the Tories, it may actually be that it's one less person to be trying to accommodate.
Lastly, there's a little bit of dissent in Labour ranks. We heard John McDonnell say this would test the patience of John the Baptist. We have an unnamed Labour donor saying of the Tory defector, I don't want people like that in the party. It could backfire, as you suggest, couldn't it? And
I think this is a classic case of careful what you wish for. And I think the really interesting thing is the reaction of people in Dover. This might have gifted the seat back to the Tories at the next election, because the backlash that sometimes happens in seats where they feel that their votes and their sort of political interests have been taken for granted, what can happen is that parties can be punished at the ballot box at the next election. That's exactly what we could see. Natalie is not standing. It might be felt that Labour were wrong to take her, and the local voters might decide to make their voice heard at the next election.